To the Pelham Panthers, Justin Foster.
And we are here for yet another week of the Panther Pulse. We are here at Golden Rule Barbecue and Grill, set for another great night. And for Pelham Panther fans, a lot of reason to celebrate after the 34-30 victory over the Calera Eagles. Good night, everybody. Justin Foster here with you, here with Caleb Turrentine. And Caleb, a huge win and plenty of highlights, plenty of nail-biting moments. What are you most excited about tonight to discuss with that game?
Well, I want to hear how everyone felt about it. You know, I didn't get to be there like everyone else, so I want to make sure everyone describes the atmosphere to me tonight like I was actually there. So we got to get to it. I'm excited to hear about it.
And quite the atmosphere it was from both sides. Calera turned out in droves, and it's about the craziest parking situation and traffic outside of the stadium I've seen in my time at Pelham. We welcome now defensive coordinator Mike Talbert in for Coach Kazi tonight, and just the guy we want to talk to with that potent Calera offense. And Coach, we'll start with that first half, particularly Kobe Prentice, the Alabama commit, certainly looked the part. And, you know, at one point, 3 touches for 3 touchdowns. Just kind of talk about that first half and what KP, as all the kids are calling him, was doing to us.
Yeah, very good player. Our first half, we went in, and it was kind of my fault. We gave him too much respect, and our players, you know, we came up with a game plan, try to keep everything in front of us, and we changed and tweaked our base defense a little bit. And with our kids respond really well if we keep it simple and let them play. And I'll be honest, that first half was my fault. I don't think we'd made changes which we shouldn't have. And in the second half, we just went back to our base defense, and the kids played hard, and that was the only change that we made to go back to what we do.
So how does that prepare you going down the road, especially, you know, when you come up maybe the best athlete y'all will face all season? How does facing a guy like that prepare you? I mean, does it make it that simple where you don't game plan around certain guys?
Yeah, you're exactly right. I told our coaching staff, we have a great coaching staff on the defensive side. I told them, I tend to overthink it, and that's what I did with that. And it's one of those situations where I told our guys, hey, let's keep it. We respect the players. We respect them all. But we have pretty good players on our side of the ball, too. And if we do what we're supposed to do, the kids do a great job. We put them in place, and they go make the plays. But we'll prepare, you know, we'll recognize players going forward. Stanhope has a lot of good players, and we'll recognize them, but we're not going to alter our defense.
So, you know, you talk about giving him too much respect with, I mean, the guy, the speed, and we talked about it, just game-changing speed. And there's, you know, after you see that, I mean, what is your mindset? And, like, I mean, our guys were in position, but with that kind of speed, there's no, you know, that's the ultimate game changer. I mean, what do you do when you're seeing that kind of speed and everything you prepare kind of goes out the window and just making plays?
Well, the hardest thing is, in practice, you can't see that speed. You don't see it in practice. So what happens is, and traditionally that's what we do defensively, it takes us a little while because we always see good players. And it takes a little while for us to simulate that speed of the game, and they get used to it. In that first half, yes, I mean, he's a good player. He's committed to Alabama for a reason. And once they see the speed and your angles change on defense, and they got, you know, they seen the speed, and they made the adjustments to it, and we just moved on.
Was that the kind of adjustments that you make at halftime? Did it make it a little bit more easy, or just a little easier for your players to get when you're just like, let's just go back to
right.
what we know we're doing?
Our kids play fast because we got great players because they're so coachable and they play hard. All we have to do is coach it. We put them in the right place and they go do it. And that's what we did. And they went back. We had them thinking a little bit too much in the first half. And we went back to our base defense and said, hey, this is what we're going to do our techniques, do our assignments, do our alignments, and we're good. And that's what they did. And all the credit goes to the players because, I mean, it was no major adjustments at halftime. The kids just came out and they played.
Huge stop right before halftime. They get down, attempt a field goal. Our guys kind of stepped up there to hold them to no points. Do you feel like that was kind of a turning point, and was there a boost in that locker room going into half?
Well, I think it was huge getting that and them getting the bad snap on the field goal. And because you look at it, in the end of the game, that was a huge difference. That was a huge difference. They would only need a field goal at the end if they would have made that. But I think there was a little bit of confidence there, but we went into halftime, and we made some adjustments. We talked to the kids. We just told them, play fast, play hard like you normally do. they just didn't do that in the first half, and that's my fault. I need to get them, better prepared for that, and that won't happen again. These kids are too well coached, and they are too well players where they're disciplined. They do what they're supposed to do.
And you mentioned that at the very end of the game. How much, easier maybe does it ease your mind at all when you have that 4-point lead instead of a 3-point lead as a defensive coach when you're seeing a final drive like that?
Oh, no doubt. It changes. We practice that, and the defense that we have, it's kind of preventive defense, but it's made for 10-yard chunks. Hey, let them get 10 yards. And what really hurt us is about the second play, they hit us and they got about to midfield. That's when the stress started coming up. If we would have held them to, about 10 yards or 5 yards here and there, keep it in front of us, then we're okay. But once they got to midfield, I think everyone's stress level went up.
Well, we'll get back to that final drive here in a moment, but I do want to talk a little bit about Will Langford, particularly, the touchdown to Jake Fox in the first half. He scrambles, as we know, we've seen him do countless times, but one of the most impressive plays I've seen him make. To me, the most impressive complete game I've seen him play, fired up, timely plays, and really a lot of guys. But let's talk a little bit about, how big Langford was and the plays he was able to make in this game.
Yeah, Will's just stepped up, and it's tough because he's so innovative when it comes to that. And he scrambles around, and it helps us because they were taking away some things offensively, and by him doing that, him scrambling around, we have a wide receiver wide open, and all he has to do is deliver it, and he does a great job. He buys himself some time, which is really hard in the defense. When you have to start scrambling and you see a quarterback like that, you want to keep him in front of you, but then see in the secondary, try to keep back. So it's tough, and he does a good job of that, and he kept his head up, and you've seen the receiver, which is tough to do.
Is it hard for you guys to enjoy it on the defensive side of the ball when you're over there trying to prepare for the next drive? You don't get to watch it. You're just hearing the crowd more than anything else?
Exactly right. Sometimes it goes so fast. Sometimes our offense scores so quickly. We're trying to get some adjustments made, and all of a sudden you don't really see. You hear the crowd, and you don't enjoy it. As a coach, you don't get to see some of the plays that the offense makes. It's sometimes a little disappointing.
Talk about, Coach Kazi always talks about complementary football and, offensively coming alive in the second half. Kobe Prentice and a lot of those guys playing both ways. Do you think fatigue kind of set in and maybe our offensive success sort of helped the defense a little bit because some of those guys were gassed late in that game?
Well, I think so, but, they can say he was cramping, but he ran down on that kickoff return. He ran down one of our players, and he wasn't cramping too much there. So, yeah, he was cramping up a little bit, but I think it's more so. I mean, it's a little bit of both. But I think our offense responding and our players stepping up, we think we're a pretty well-conditioned team. And it's one of those things, going into a game, we know, we play complementary football, but sometimes, hey, the offense isn't doing as well, so the defense has to pick it up, and vice versa. And that's what happened this game. We didn't do very well in the first half. The offense, they got that 7 points in the first half, which kind of got us going a little bit, and it kept us in there. So, we are a complementary football team.
Is there a point in the game where you're really starting to look at your guys and tell them, hey, the other team's wearing down, this is our time to make that push? Is that something you saw Friday?
Well, I think it's more of a confidence of getting a stop, like right before halftime. Once we see it, confidence is so important with our guys. And once they see that and they got to stop and they realize what we're doing, and they know, I think our players are they're so adaptable that if we give them something and we said, hey, we're just going to go back, they take coaching so well. And they do what they're supposed to do. And that's what we did. And they knew. I mean, we play pretty good defense in the second half because our players are so good at adjusting.
I know the secondary was kind of a focal point, with who they're lining up against. 3 touchdowns in the first half for Prentice. Second half, not much doing, and some huge plays for that secondary to get the ball back, swing the momentum back to us. How big were they, and how mentally tough to respond to that first half?
That was one of those situations. Like I said, in the first half, we ran some coverages, which gave him too much space, and we gave Prentice too much. You give him any type of space, and he's pretty elusive, as we've seen. So what we did is we just tightened it down a little bit, and we changed our coverages up, and a couple of the interceptions were coverages they hadn't seen before, and it paid off for us. But the kids executed with the calls, and that's what it came down to.
And just to touch on that final drive one more time, from a defensive perspective, is there more pressure on those plays to draw up the right schemes, or is it just kind of a back off, play a base, and let your guys make plays on their own?
Well, it depends on the situation. That situation, again, knowing they needed a touchdown, you can be, from my perspective, you can be laid back a little bit more. You can play a little bit more zone. You know, if they needed a field goal, you might have to bring a little bit more pressure. So we didn't bring that much pressure. We wanted to chew up the clock, let them, 5 yards, huddle up. But, it depends on the situation. That situation, once they got inside the 40, I'll be honest, it tensed up a little bit, and then that's when the decision-making comes, is like, hey, do you bring pressure? But it's hard because with Prentice, you can't really play man-to-man coverage with him.
Yeah.
So we played a little bit more zone.
Comes down to that final play, a lot of chaos there in the final moments. They decide to run the ball, a decision that if it works, they're brilliant. It does not. Is that something you expected? And the D was, they certainly looked ready for that. What goes through your mind when you see them hand that ball off? Well,
the good thing with our defense is, we put them in a position to succeed, but, we're sound in everything we do. I'll be honest, I thought they were going to bring Prentice across in motion, so we kind of played it like a trap coverage to the field, expecting him going to run a little quick out. And they ran the ball, but again, everyone did their job. You just can't guess at it. Our inside linebacker and our defensive line, they did a great job. Them running the ball, it was kind of surprising, but with the defense we were running, it wasn't a terrible call on their part. I think our kids made a play.
Well, from our our vantage point, easy to get emotional, celebrate it, enjoy it, all nerves on that last drive. From your perspective, is that celebration the same as it is for the players? Are you feeling those nerves, or is it just zoned in all about, that moment and making the right calls?
No, the nerves are there. It's one of those things. For us as coaches, we're competitors, but we have to compete through our players. And the nerves are there, and but the good thing is when you go through and we put our kids in those situations during practice, and they realize that, and we do 2-minute quite a bit, and we do it every Wednesday we do that. And so they're in that situation, so they become familiar with that situation, but it is stressful from a coaching perspective.
Coach Talbert, a great victory, 34-30 over Calera. Later in the show, we will preview Friday's road trip to Stanhope Elmore. Coming up after the break, we chat with several key players from Friday's game and for the season, as well as coming up later in the show, Coach Michael Wheeler and several players from the middle school are here to chat with us about their season. And coming up later in the show, several lettermen are here. We've got the veteran letterman to my left here. We're going to talk to some of the current ones and see what that is all about. That is coming up later on the Panther Pulse. Right after this, we chat with several key players from Friday. That's coming up right here on 93.3 The River.
It's easy to trust a business that's got good history. Golden Rule Barbecue and Grill has been cooking up good eats since 1891, when the first Golden Rule opened up in Irondale. Golden Rule has been one of Pelham's most popular go-to spots since 1980. Whether you want a pork sandwich, slab of ribs, or a feast tailor-made for tailgating, Golden Rule is ready to serve. Good food with a good history. Golden Rule Barbecue and Grill in the Pelham Town Center, just a few doors down from Publix.
State Farm Insurance Agent Joseph Chambers is a proud supporter of 93.3 The River and all things Pelham. Joseph and his staff can take care of your home and auto insurance needs, as well as life insurance. State Farm was recently ranked number 1 by J.D. Power & Associates for life insurance customer satisfaction. Joseph's office is located in the Canyon Park Office Center. His number is 205-663-3276. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
9,997. No.
Suppose Thomas Edison had given up.
9,998.
But his failures only led him to the next idea.
9,999.
Picture Times Square, dim, Las Vegas dark, your home black. Picture no electric light.
10,000. Come on.
Optimism, pass it on. From the Foundation for a Better Life at values.com.
Coach Nick Saban.
Helping children is very important to Miss Terry and me. As parents, it saddens us to know that there are more than 5,000 children in foster care in Alabama. These children need loving, nurturing families to care for them. We ask you to join the team and become champions for children by opening your heart, opening your home, and becoming a foster or adoptive parent.
For more information, call 1-866-4AL-KIDS. Sponsored by the Alabama Department of Human Resources, Alabama Broadcasters Association, and this station.
Back here from Golden Rule Barbecue and Grill as the Panther Pulse rolls on. Again, talking about a big 34-30 region victory over the Calera Eagles. And we bring in now 3 seniors, key guys for the Panthers. We have Cody Beathers, Gabe Gamble, and Braden Marlowe. Gentlemen, welcome to the Pulse. How we doing tonight?
Doing good, doing good.
Doing good. And you know, we'll start with Cody, that secondary, guys under stress all night Friday, dealing with Kobe Prentice. Down the stretch, some huge plays. Just sort of talk us through the mindset of that defense, particularly in that second half.
So, obviously, Kobe, he kind of got us in the first half. So we had a talk at halftime with our coaches, and we kind of set our mind straight that we're going to play our defense, and we're just going to shut them down as a whole. And we I think it just kind of worked with how our mindset went in, as we're not going to focus on one guy, we're going to focus on the whole team. And that just went like that.
Do you feel like in that first half that you guys were kind of thinking about it too much? I mean, that, you know, this is the guy, and Coach Talbert kind of alluded to it a little bit. Do you feel like it was, you know, more about thinking about it instead of just reacting to the play?
I feel like that may have been he was good, and I feel like that may have been a part of the part of our mindsets. Like, we might have gotten a little in our heads about it. I mean, he was good, but I think we could have held him a lot better in that first half.
We'll stop talking about him, you know, eventually. I know y'all are hoping to be done with him now. He's gone, right? He's going to Alabama.
As far as the record book is concerned, they are done with him. The win's there.
That's right. But at the same time, playing against a guy like that, you might not come up against someone better than that. So how does that prepare you going into, you know, against other receivers for the rest of the year?
Well, I think it's good that we got to see someone like that, because I feel like it prepares us, because he's probably the fastest person we'll see all year. So we can know that how to handle speed later in the year with other guys. But hopefully not hopefully, but I don't think we'll have to face someone like that again. But it's cool that we got to face someone like that.
And got the win.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Braden, you've dealt with some frustration the last couple of weeks, been sidelined. You know, talk us through what it's been like to sort of have to be on the sideline, particularly as a game Friday, such an electric atmosphere. You know, what's going through your mind with all that?
I mean, in the first half, I wanted to go up to the locker room and put some pads on immediately. Like, it sucks sitting out, but at the same time, it's a learning experience for me in a different way, because you have to learn how to lead, and I can't lead by example. So, you know, during halftime, everybody's heads were down. Everybody was just confused. I mean, I got some of the guys and talked to them. I just told them, like Cohen, Seth, Jamal, I grabbed them. I was like, hey, guys, I'm not out there. We need to lead. Somebody needs to lead, and especially with Fabian out too. I mean, it was just a good experience, but I don't want to do it again. I need to be on the field with my brothers.
So you do feel like there was something to take from that,
Yes.
and maybe a learning experience from
Most
it.
definitely.
So how do you put that into motion, I guess, on the field? Once you get back out there, you can go back to leading by example, but how do you, you know, take what you got from this past game?
I mean, it shows a different way to lead, like on the sideline. If we go down like that again or something like that happens, just grab some guys, talk to them, let them ever break it up. Let somebody talk to the D-line, somebody talk to the linebacker, somebody talk to the secondary. If we all can't be on the same page, we'll all be on the same page in a different way.
How much of that goes into the exact guy that goes in to fill your position? How much are you trying to talk him up?
Oh, Bishop Rella and Will Felton, I mean, I'm proud of them for stepping up. I mean, I'm not saying all I can say is great things about them. They've handled it well. And Bishop last year when I got injured, he stepped up big. And I got injured last year in this exact game, and I threw him in a horrible spot. But, I mean, he did great. I mean, look at him now. He's had so much experience. I mean, I'm proud of him.
How huge is it to have the depth of linebacker that we have and the guys around you? How does it improve your game and, you know, maybe give you a sigh of relief to know you got all this talent around you?
It's a great relief, because, I mean, if I get tired, I know I have a guy behind me that I can trust. We can throw them in, and we'll be perfectly fine. Nothing's going to change.
And we got Gabe now with the headset on and, you know, really getting the bulk of the carries in that backfield. This is not the first time you've had to do it. Your sophomore year, Dylan goes down, and you got a grin. You love this. But, you know, Dylan goes down with an injury your sophomore year. You kind of have that breakout campaign. How did that kind of prepare you for this year and what the role that you have now?
Even as freshman year, coming in, Coach Colley just always said, work while you wait. So if you come to practice prepared as if you're going to play and prepare that way each and every day, each and every week, it just prepares you for moments like that. So when that happens, talked to Coach, and he was like, you prepared for this, you're ready. And so from that point, it was just stepping up, and it really has prepared me for being able to sit back and not only sit back and watch from a great guy like Dylan, but being able to play side by side with him. And we talk through plays and talk through things and communicate that way, so it's great.
So we talk a lot about how crowded it is in the backfield and the receivers, all the guys that get to touch the ball on the offense. But everyone, still you're the guy, you're that lead guy. What is your role when you are the lead guy, but you like seeing, have so many other guys that do get touches?
It's incredible being able to know that one play I may be blocking for them so they can go make a great play, and then I turn around and they do the same for me. And so it's just great being able to have that many lethal weapons. Offensively, you got great guys like all of us, really. I mean, it's hard to just name them because we have a deep receiving core as well, and I got a great backup. Rasim Martin, been teaching him the game. From him being a first year, he's doing a great job, and I know when he comes in, I have no worries. We're all good, so it's just really amazing.
I often say that your greatness is really in the 2, 3, 4-yard runs, not the 20. Those are great, but when you're hitting the backfield, you're still getting 2 or 3, setting up the team in a better situation. What is your mindset in that? You got an old school back kind of look and feel to your game. I mean, are there any guys that you sort of look up to, model your game after, and what's your mindset going to work every Friday night?
In warm-ups, we always say, when we finish our mesh warm-up or whatnot, we always say the big plays will come, but just focus on the 2 to 4 yard gains of play, because after that, if you get 4 and 4 each and every play, we're gaining first downs, and that's what it's all about. It's a game of first downs. You can get first downs and progressively move down the field. We'll be set up in great position, like Coach Kazi always says. As long as we end up in a kick rather than a turnover, we'll be all right. It gives ourselves a chance to keep moving forward.
I kind of said this on Friday, but you kind of put several guys on a poster. The football equivalent of posterizing a guy. Is that something when it happens, you kind of come back to that huddle smiling, knowing it? What does that do to kind of gain confidence for you as you're running the ball?
It's really just, I feel like a momentum boost. It lets the guys know, like, I got excitement, and if I'm all in, I feel like they're all in there. We all just build off each other. When one great guy makes a play, the next one makes a play, and it just keeps it rolling. So I just really take pride in that. So I feel like, that's what it really does.
I want to shift now just to this week. I know it's fun to talk about the win, but I know y'all have already moved on to a new week too. And I'll start with you, Braden, because I know a little bit about Stanhope Elmore, and I know they are a very heavy running team, and y'all know that too. But last year, they threw a lot on y'all because they had that one little receiver that got past y'all. As a linebacking crew, y'all see run all the time. How do you make sure you don't get sucked in on those play-action plays that I know they really like to run?
Well, as an outside linebacker, it's all about reading. You take your read step and you're looking right at the quarterback, seeing how he's playing, if his shoulders are turned, if the ball's being handed off, and you can't really second guess yourself. If you mess up going 100%. So if you get sucked in, go ahead and commit blitz. But it's all about just reading the quarterback's eyes, reading the ball, fighting the ball.
Do y'all remember much about that game last year and being able to have those guys that did get over the top on y'all a couple of times?
Personally, no. I went down in the first half, but sitting on the sideline, it was crazy to watch because, you'll game plan for something all week and then something will go crazy out there. But, we have a great defense. We know how to respond to things. Like the second half of last game, we build ourselves together, we come together as a team, and we can really do whatever to an offense.
All right, before we let you guys go, I got to ask, Friday night, environment-wise, to me is number one on the list at my time at Pelham in 4 years. Where does that rank for you guys just as far as a memory of, students, electric atmosphere, and, Pelham at its finest?
Are you talking about at home?
Yeah, Calera game.
Yeah, it was a great environment. It was close games are always going to be like that. You want blowouts and stuff like that. You want the environment still to be great. But if you go back and watch the last play, like on film, the sideline view, once we see the defense make that tackle, the sideline erupted. I mean, it was just a great thing to watch.
I think the entire student body was on the field like as soon as that play was over. Everybody was out there.
It was great to feel and watch and be there for.
Well, we hope we have many more of them this year. Gentlemen, thanks so much for joining us. When we return, we talk middle school football and the future. Coach Michael Wheeler is here. That is coming up right after this. We will be right back from Golden Rule on 93.3 The River.
Insurance agent Joseph Chambers is a proud supporter of 93.3 The River and all things Pelham. Joseph and his staff can take care of your home and auto insurance needs, as well as life insurance. State Farm was recently ranked number 1 by J.D. Power and Associates for life insurance customer satisfaction. Joseph's office is located in the Canyon Park Office Center. His number is 205-663-3276. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
At some barbecue joints, a pork sandwich is more bread than pork. Not at Golden Rule Barbecue and Grill. Their pork sandwich is packed with so much juicy pit-cooked meat, you'll also need a fork to eat it. Big portions at a not-so-big price. That's the Golden Rule way since 1891. It's the oldest continuously running restaurant in Alabama. Pork, chicken, brisket, ribs, burgers, catfish. Our menu is as loaded as that pork sandwich. Golden Rule Barbecue and Grill in the Pelham Town Center, just a few doors down from Publix.
The skills you can develop as a soldier in the Army National Guard can give you an edge in the high-tech job market of tomorrow. The Guard offers career training to take advantage of your skills in science, technology, engineering, and math that can help give you a leg up to a high-paying and rewarding STEM profession. Get a head start on your career while earning money to pay for college. Log on to NationalGuard.com to learn about all of the STEM career opportunities in the Army National Guard. Sponsored by the Alabama Army National Guard. Aired by the Alabama Broadcasters Association and this station.
Back here from Golden Rule Barbecue and Grill as the Panther Pulse rolls along. We welcome now Coach Michael Wheeler and several players from the middle school. Coach Wheeler, how you doing?
Doing good. How are y'all?
Doing great. Y'all have to rotate. We got you trying to get the mic situation sorted out. It's kind of a hot potato, so y'all just we'll rotate around. Well, Coach, just start us off. How's the season going for you guys? How many games in are we, and what's the schedule kind of look like this year?
All right, so we're 2 games in. We're 1-1. Lost a heartbreaker last Thursday by 2 points. And we don't want to sit here and sugarcoat things, but this group as 8th graders had to play up last year as 7th graders because we only had one team, and it was pretty brutal. That leap from 7th to 8th is fairly big, and they got tossed around a little bit. But this year they've been doing the tossing, which has been fun, and won our first game against Chelsea, a team they lost by 20 points to last year, and then lost by 2 to Calera, who took them out by about 35 points last year. So we're headed in the right direction. We're off this week, and then next week we take on McAdory and finish the season with Briarwood, Columbiana, and Helena.
Okay. So how much of what people see on those Friday nights, everyone remembers Friday nights is for the local football stuff, how much of what happens on Friday nights starts at this middle school level?
I'd say ever since Coach Causey took over, it starts there because, when he took over, he came down, kind of told Coach Collins and the rest of the staff down there, hey, we really want you guys to run some of what we run to get them somewhat knowledgeable before they come up. And we preach to them that, you guys are running a lot of the same stuff. But the main goal here is to hand them off after their 8th grade year, knowing how to work hard, push through adversity. And in that middle school, numbers are huge. So we try to get as many kids out as we can, and you just don't know what their bodies are going to do. So get them out, turn them over to Coach Causey and that staff, and let them work their magic.
You talked about last year being a struggle and kind of taking the lumps. Is that any easier for you from a coaching standpoint to know it's about the development and kind of getting those guys reps and allowing them to grow as players?
Yeah, I'd say yes this year. Last year was my first year. Coach Collins left and moved up and was working with the defense at the high school, and it was rough. No one likes to lose, but, coaches are the same way. We don't want to lose, and that was a brutal time. this year it's come in with a mindset that's a lot clearer, knowing that, you know, we have a clear goal, is to get them ready for high school. We're not winning a state championship at middle school. And, you know, to hand them off and know that they're ready to roll is awesome. And, you know, to see, you know, Gabe and Marlo and Beathers over there, you know, just to watch them from middle school, coached all those guys, coached them from middle school, and watch them in high school is awesome.
So when you talk about being able to use their system and different plays and schemes, obviously is good, but how much of your own spin do you still get to put on things?
We put some of our own spin on stuff. You know, we changed the defense this year to run something similar to what they do, but, you know, we tailored that to middle school football. We don't see a ton of high passing teams, and so we tailor our defense around that. And offense, I'm an offensive line coach, so I want to run the ball as much as possible, but our offensive coordinator likes to mix some things in there, and so we do. We like to have as much fun as we possibly can, but again, you tailor it around what you got and go from there. And this year we've got, you know, an 8th grade group that's pretty experienced, and then a 7th grade group that is low in numbers, but they're having fun. So we throw them out there and get after it.
You know, COVID's been at the forefront for every sport and everybody's experience the last couple of years. Have there been any unique challenges for what you're trying to do recruiting-wise, getting guys to come in and play, just based on that and the restrictions we've had to deal with?
Yeah, last year was, you know, it was so much unknown, and so our numbers took a nosedive last year. And I think this year parents saw how we handled it. We make sure they're safe. We try to get them in and out of the locker room, mask on. We've got a system now, and so I think parents are a little more comfortable. And we saw our numbers spike in the 8th grade team, which is fantastic. And I think the 7th grade will do the same thing when they become 8th graders next year. And so, yeah, just knowing what we're dealing with.
Those are the kind of numbers you do want to see spike.
Yes, those numbers, not the other numbers, yeah. So knowing what we're dealing with a little bit more makes everything easier, puts parent at ease, because I'm not going to sit here and argue with mom about that. Like, she's in charge, so if she says no, her son's not playing because of that, I understand it. But I think mom and dads are a little easier going this year, knowing that we're taking care of them, we're keeping them separate, they're wearing their mask, we're doing everything we possibly can.
So we have talked a little bit about the connection with the high school program, and then you also, mentioned just getting numbers up. Do you do much of that recruiting process to get kids out to the middle school team for 7th grade? Do you have any connection with like city leagues? Do you try to keep up with them there at all?
You know, I scour the halls constantly, and I pull kids over and like, hey, what's your name? Why aren't you playing football? I'll send them out. You know, they talked to their buddies this year and got some more kids out. I was talking with some 7th graders today. I said, you got 2 objectives right now. We need to win as much as we can this year, and then I'm going to give you a list of names, and you're going to go recruit these kids out of the halls. And then we do. I've talked to both the 6th grade coach and the 5th grade coach this year, and I think we're going to try and have a couple nights where we take these guys down there and let them cheer on the younger kids and kind of get that family atmosphere going, to where when these 6th graders come up next year, you know, they're like, oh, man, there's those guys. You feel more comfortable, come on out, you know, and do that as best we can.
How do you feel the success of varsity, you know, and just sort of the trending upwards we've seen in the last couple of years? How much does that factor into guys wanting to play and come out and join the fun?
I mean, I think it certainly helps. Like, you know, you don't want to – it's another thing I can say. Like, hey, go to the games on Friday, watch the high school play, see the atmosphere. You know, it's important. You know, these guys, they go most Friday nights and they pay attention some of the time. You know, they're in middle school, they run around doing other stuff.
They're playing their own game off in the grass somewhere, right?
But like, just being in the atmosphere, and I can tell them like, hey, you guys, the main message I say is, you guys are going to be together the next 4 or 5 years. You'll be up there as a group, and that's going to be y'all. So at some point this year, you need to go watch and see what it's going to be like, because it's, you know, that's the way it's going to be moving forward. So and this 8th grade group is good. It's a good group of kids that we're sending up there, and they're going to fill some holes next year for sure. And I think by the time they're up there sophomore, junior year, we're going to have another good group. So.
Well, let's hear from these guys. Guys, let's get y'all mic'd up and welcome now Jacob Armstead and Joseph Hampton. Guys, you know, what are your kind of goals in this season? We heard from Coach, but what are you guys going out trying to do every game and every practice to get better?
Honestly, just work hard, give 100% effort. Goal is to win as many games as possible, you know. Yep.
Like he said, just go out, give 100% effort. And my main goal is to get ready for high school and just win as many games as possible.
And talking about high school, what are you guys most looking forward to about joining us up on the hill?
Just hanging out with the, seniors and stuff, high school players.
Okay, the seniors, yeah, not juniors, sophomores. You're going for the big dogs. Okay.
Honestly, seeing how everybody else plays, getting experience and all that.
Yeah, we talk. You hear us talking about the high school team a lot. Do y'all get to go watch? Do y'all go to games?
Yep.
Most of the games.
What's y'all's favorite part of those going out there?
Just hanging out with your friends, watching how the high school plays and comparing them to our plays and just, working to get better.
So you guys are defensive guys, correct?
Yes, sir.
All right,
Yes,
we got some of the big dogs over there. They might can show you a thing or two. Y'all have any favorite players and anybody you look at on that high school team in particular you enjoy watching?
Particularly? No, not really.
Okay.
No.
This is how you get noticed. Name a junior, right? Someone sitting over there. Maybe you can play some favorites.
Braden Marlowe. Y'all linebackers, right?
Yep.
Hey, Braden Marlowe. He's right there. I think he's about halfway into that barbecue meal over there. He's not studying us too much. Well, guys, thanks so much for joining us. Coach Wheeler, thanks for being with us, and look forward to seeing you guys up on the hill. Take broadcasting. You take my class. I got to recruit a little bit too, Coach. All right, coming up after this, we will chat with several of our lettermen, the guys responsible for bringing you that atmosphere on Friday night. The guys not on the field. That is coming up right after this from Golden Rule and Pelham. You are listening to the Panther Pulse on 93.3 The River.
If you call yourself Golden Rule, you've created high expectations for yourself. Each day, the folks at Golden Rule Barbecue and Grill want to make your dining experience one they'd enjoy as well. That means a hello when you walk in the door, service with a smile, and delicious food made to order. Their pit-cooked barbecue is aimed to give you that homemade feeling. Golden Rule Barbecue and Grill, serving up good eats in Alabama since 1891 and ready to serve you in the Pelham Town Center, just a few doors down from Publix.
State Farm Insurance Agent Joseph Chambers is a proud supporter of 93.3 The River and all things Pelham. Joseph and his staff can take care of your home and auto insurance needs, as well as life insurance. State Farm was recently ranked number 1 by J.D. Power and Associates for life insurance customer satisfaction. Joseph's office is located in the Canyon Park Office Center. His number is 205-663-3276. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
The interstate is backed up this morning due to an accident.
So, you don't like sitting still on the interstate? Get the free Algo traffic app. With Algo, you'll have the information you need to avoid problems on your route, to work, to home. Traffic backups, wrecks, lane closures, all with current info and live traffic camera feeds. Know before you go with Algo Traffic, ALGO Traffic, from the Alabama Department of Transportation. Get it today and arrive on time.
Sponsored by LDOT, ABA, and this station.
Back here from Golden Rule as the Panther Pulse rolls along, and Caleb Turntine is in heaven now as we have his favorite group. He is a former letterman himself, and now we have 3 current lettermen with us now. Roy Gonzalez, Josh Knight, Avery Childress joining us now. Gentlemen, welcome aboard the Pulse.
Nice to be here. It's nice to be here.
It's good to be here. Now, I just want to sort of have you guys walk us through what is the Friday experience for you guys. I know, we've asked to get y'all painted up during school, and I know that's a timely process. But what does that Friday look like for you guys leading up to kickoff?
I mean, it's kind of what you'd expect. We're just, getting ready, trying to get hyped for the game. We get painted, and the only problem, I think, with what you said, getting painted up in school, is taking it off. That's probably one of the toughest parts about it. But, I mean, most of the things we do is just, get hyped for the game, try to advertise the game, make people, aware of that the game's, happening that night, and tell them where it's going to be and what the theme's going to be.
Have y'all perfected the process yet? How early do y'all get started with the painting?
I mean, as early as 5. I mean, it gets super hectic, so we have to get it done earlier because we still have to go get the poles, the flags, everything, like the board that we do the push-ups on after every touchdown. So, I mean, as early as we can get it, but usually around 5.
All right, I got to know with the board, all right, who's getting the call when it is a shootout and we're talking 49, 56 points? Is that going to be Avery over here? I know Avery's the athlete.
I mean, it would be Avery if he was probably 30 pounds lighter, but our go-to after these 3 weeks would probably be Daniel or Stone Pearson for sure.
Yep. Stone the wrestler. Right?
Oh, for sure, yeah. I mean, I've heard that he's probably hit 120, 130 without stopping, so I mean.
With ease.
Everybody raves about Avery now.
I mean, yeah, Avery's good, but I don't know if I'd.
The weight really holding him down.
Yeah, that's certainly something we never did with our group, so I can't
did
even
y'all
speak to that. No,
no
we were lazy. We were lazy. We had no, don't worry about that. But we were creative. Okay, so we only had a few. I think we only had 8 my year, and that was the lowest we had there in several years over there. How many are y'all at now?
9, right?
9.
I mean, yeah, we have our group isn't that big, but again, we work with what we got, and it's going well.
So what do y'all usually spell? Do y'all switch it up?
Sometimes we go Panthers, go Pelham. We did the first week, I think, just stuff like that.
Go Ham, go.
Yeah, go Ham,
exclamation
go.
point. Can't forget that.
Who's usually gets stuck with the exclamation point?
That would be me. Yeah.
That's why you say you can't forget it.
Yep. I mean, it's fine. I like being the exclamation point.
What do you think makes a great letterman? We kind of talked about this with Ms. Coker a couple weeks ago, but what are those qualities?
I think a big one is just being like having pride in your school, because like if you just go to games and you're just there just to watch and not really get like hype in the student section and stuff, like we want you to be there to like cheer them on because they want that, like everybody else wants that. So like I as from my point of view, I just want it for like the football players, because I know if I was out there I'd want the same thing, just to like have people supporting me and like with me. So I think that's just my biggest thing.
He said it really well. I mean, no way to say it better.
Well, let me add this. You guys are basketball players, and our student section at basketball games is pretty impressive most of the time. Does that kind of add to your desire to come out and support these guys, as knowing that when the tables turn, a lot of them play basketball too, but when the tables turn, they're going to be out there cheering for y'all?
I think so. I think like when we see people at our games, it's kind of like that same feeling. Like it makes you like happy that people are there to watch you and like cheer you on. So I think that kind of carries over to like the lettermen wanting to do the same for them.
Yeah, I mean, basketball, you can really feel the effect of the crowd.
Yeah.
And we want to make that big as possible for the home games that we have.
So what do y'all do in order to try to keep the student section engaged? I know you start looking up the rows, you start seeing some of the younger kids. It's just, it's just a big social, they're just out there to talk the whole time. So what do y'all do to try to make sure to keep everybody involved?
It's tough sometimes, but one of the best ways I think is when Roy gets everyone and does the Pelham Panthers chant. I think that kind of just refocuses everybody, because, it is tough sometimes. People aren't always paying attention, but I think that normally does get everybody back in the atmosphere.
QB1 Will Langford was very fired up, as I've seen him on Friday night, particularly reacting to you guys. I saw it multiple times. Were y'all saying something to Will? Was that just, hey, it's my boys, they're hyped up and fired up? Talk a little bit about that.
I mean, I just know that whenever Will was close to me, I was just making sure, like, I was encouraging, because, like, he's our QB. Like, he needs that encouragement, and, he played really well. So every time I saw him, I just hype him up and just tell him to keep going.
Yeah, I mean, just backing on what he's already kind of putting himself out for, just kind of putting that little extra mustard on it.
Feeding that energy.
Yeah.
Reciprocal there.
So I haven't seen you guys in action yet this year, and I know other groups in the past have switched it up. Are y'all just painting letters? Y'all do full chest and arms?
Oh, okay. So that's kind of I don't know how to say it.
It's a touchy subject for me. You got to do this right. This is a big spot.
We're definitely going to do like full sleeves one game. We're definitely going to paint our entire arm. It's going to be tough, but we're thinking that we're going to do that. But right now we're just kind of doing just chest and just kind of chest, like a tank top almost. But we're definitely going to go all out for, like, I guess, senior night and homecoming and stuff like that.
You're shaking your head already. It sounds like you don't want to do this.
The armpits doesn't work.
Oh,
Yeah.
no, you don't have to go that far.
Oh, yeah, no.
That's all you do,
No, it just doesn't work on the armpits, especially trying to get it off.
You won't be getting any sympathy from me, guys. You gotta take this elsewhere. I know those showers were tough, but hey, it was worth it.
It's worth it. It's worth it.
So Friday night we talked to the players about it. Where did that rank for you guys? I know watching some of the footage, you guys were kind of leading that celebration onto the field. Where did that rank in your, memories at Pelham High School?
It was definitely up there because I remember my freshman year, I had a similar experience. I wasn't a letterman, obviously, but I saw the letterman. It was at a Chelsea. When we played Chelsea, and it was just an insane environment. And I think that kind of just like ranks up there because I was in a different position, and I think it was just really fun, and the environment was crazy.
Definitely my top football game all time.
Yeah.
Just the environment, the crowd, how it was going back and forth on the field the entire game. It was perfect.
Perfect atmosphere.
Yeah.
So now y'all guys, y'all have done the easy part. October, November is coming. Are y'all prepared for those cold games?
I don't know. I mean, I think I'll do pretty good in the cold. I don't know about some of my fellow lettermen, but I think I'll do pretty good in the cold.
I'm one of the fellow lettermen.
I will just go on and say this. I'm not going to name names, but a couple years ago, there were guys with the blankets on and all this stuff. And if y'all are sending the message that you can't take the cold, what message does it send our players?
Hey, those players are wearing more clothes than us. I'm with these guys, all right?
Yeah, I think I'm gonna take one for the team. Not wear a jacket, not wear a blanket. You gotta rep it.
Hey, the colder it gets, that means you're winning games, and it makes it more fun anyway in the playoffs. So you take that.
Very true.
We'll get you some hands.
Oh yeah, I'll get some hand.
Oh, you have to have hand warmers.
Yeah,
for sure.
I'll get some hand warmers. That's probably the most I'll do.
Now, I got to ask, we got to get Roy the headset again because, talking to Miss Coker this morning about you guys, she said that you're the team mom, and I've got to know what duties do the team mom have?
I mean, it's basically what a normal mom would do, just making sure guys are there to get painted at the right time. We've had a couple problems with Avery showing up a little late. There hasn't been consequences, but if he keeps showing up late, we might have to have a couple talks. But yeah, just making sure that every Friday after school, going to get the bag of paint, take it up to the lot, just make sure everybody's doing what they're supposed to be doing, make sure none of these guys get into fights with anybody in the student section with the opposing, just stuff like that, duties that moms would have with their children, and I got to treat them as my children and make sure everything goes to plan on game day.
Okay. So now it gets a little bit tougher. This is y'all's first road game. You got to make sure everyone's there on time.
I got to make sure everybody, the bus, 4:30. Ms. Coker already told us we got to be there at 4:30, and I mean, it's going to get tough, but I know these guys listen to me, and I mean, if not, then there'll be consequences. They know that.
We got to, show off the helmet here. Your token of your Letterman past here.
Yeah, this has been sitting in a car trunk for a while. This is a relic from Letterman 4 years before me. So somehow I still have it and never pass it down. So y'all have to figure out a use for this thing. It doesn't protect your head or anything. Don't wear it while you're driving a motorcycle. I wouldn't even wear it probably. You can't see out of it, but y'all can figure it out. It's y'all's now. So there you go. No one on the radio can see it. This wasn't the best thing to do on a radio show, but here we are.
All the people on YouTube, here you go. You get to see that right there. And Roy directs our show here from Golden Rule, and Josh been here helping out as well. So we thank you for that. Guys, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you for having us.
This is a lot of fun. And again, we'll see you guys Friday at Stanhope. And when we come back here, we wrap things up from Golden Rule as Coach Talbert joins us again to preview that matchup at Stanhope Friday night. That's coming up right after this on 93.3 The River and the Panther Pulse.
State Farm Insurance Agent Joseph Chambers is a proud supporter of 93.3 The River and all things Pelham. Joseph and his staff can take care of your home and auto insurance needs, as well as life insurance. State Farm was recently ranked #1 by J.D. Power and Associates for life insurance customer satisfaction. Joseph's office is located in the Canyon Park Office Center. His number is 205-663-3276. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
It's easy to trust a business that's got good history. Golden Rule Barbecue and Grill has been cooking up good eats since 1891, when the first Golden Rule opened up in Irondale. Golden Rule has been one of Pelham's most popular go-to spots since 1980. Whether you want a pork sandwich, slab of ribs, or a feast tailor-made for tailgating, Golden Rule is ready to serve. Good food with a good history. Golden Rule Barbecue and Grill in the Pelham Town Center, just a few doors down from Publix.
Never give in. Never give in. Never, never, never. In nothing, great or small, large or petty, never give in, except to convictions of honor and good sense.
Winston Churchill's immortal words stirred an entire country in the face of certain defeat. Today, these words give each of us the courage to reach for our own victories.
Never give in. Never give in. Never, never, never.
Commitment. Pass it on. From the Foundation for a Better Life at values.com.
Back here from Golden Rule Barbecue and Grill, wrapping up things here on the Panther Pulse. I want to again thank Golden Rule for the hospitality as usual, and also Joseph Chambers, your State Farm insurance agent. Our great sponsors help bring this show to you every single week, and Coach Talbert joining us again to talk Friday nights. Again, pivotal matchup, Stanhope-Elmore, first road game for the Panthers. And, you know, Stanhope, if one thing sticks out from a year ago, it's big, physical, up front. How's their personnel this year compared to what we saw a year ago?
Very similar. They are very big on the offensive line, very physical. Defensive line, the same way. I mean, they're a very talented, big physical football team.
And when you say that, I mean, just last week in their win over Benjamin Russell, the Benjamin Russell coach after the game said, you know, they're just bigger than us, and we knew that. How do you feel like y'all match up with them in those trenches?
Oh, it's one of those situations where they're much bigger than us, just like last year, though. But it's a testament to our players. You know, last year we were very fortunate to get a win. Players played really well. Their coach said it was a fluke, and when you look at it after the game, if you put the players standing up against each other and us beating them, you know, maybe as a coach you'd say that was a fluke, but we didn't think it was a fluke. But they're the same team. They look almost the same as last year. So, you know, they're going to be bigger than us, but our kids play so hard and do their job, you know, we feel pretty comfortable with it.
A year ago, playoff atmosphere at home. It was one Coach Causey kind of talked about in his time at Pelham, wanting to be able to win these games, and how it was one that was kind of circled like, hey, we got to get over this hump. We do win that game. It kind of see the tables a little turned. I mean, we defending region champs coming into their place. How you think our guys have responded to maybe that flip there?
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how they respond. They're 2-1. They, you know, came out a big win against Benjamin Russell last week. They had a tough loss to 7A Prattville, and the week before opening season they beat Selma. So they scored a lot of points, and you know, I think our players respond well. I mean, I think they're motivated. It'll be interesting to see because it's going to be the first road game for us. It's an important Regent game. They're going to be well motivated. They're going to come out and play hard, and I think we will too. It should be a good ball game.
Yeah, they're definitely notoriously better at home. I think, you know, maybe if, like you said last year, line them up against each other, you might think Stanhope was a favorite, but they didn't play up to it when they came here. So does that make it a little bit more difficult on y'all, not just it being y'all's first road game? They're better at home, and it's just an unfamiliar environment. You know, y'all haven't been up to Stanhope in a few years.
Correct. I mean, and it's going to be a challenge, you know, just getting used to the little things like the locker room and the setup and, you know, staying focused on the drive down there. So it is interesting to see how our kids respond and how they prepare. But we've had pretty good success, and, you know, we have a senior team, and so we're expecting them to be focused and be ready to go.
Is it hard to refocus after kind of the emotional game, the atmosphere of what we saw last Friday?
I believe so, but, you know, defensively we try to use a 24-hour rule. Like, we give them 24 hours to either, you know, celebrate that win or, you know, sometimes that loss, and you look at the film, and then you move on. And so, you know, Calera's last week, it's over with. They know, our players know that, you know, this is an important Regent game. And we can't, whatever happened last week, you know, we're very fortunate we got a win, but if we don't take care of business this week, it didn't really help us a whole lot. And
from your defensive, I'll start with their offense here. We know, I mean, Stanhope has always been a run the football kind of team, despite what happened last year in this game. And I know they have a new workhorse too. The number 21, his name's Antonio Trone. He They called it his coming out party just last week when he went 107 yards and a couple of touchdowns.
I think he had a pretty good game against us a year ago. That name immediately rings a bell to me.
Well, what's the strategy like when you can go in and kind of expect one guy to get 25, 30 carries on his own? Do you play it any differently than it being spread out?
We're not. And again, it goes back to last week. We took our focus off of last week. If we come in, we do our job. Yes, we're going to emphasize they do run the ball. But our number one thing defensively is we stop the run first. We stop the run first and keep the ball in front of us, and that's some of the things that, we put our defense in, and that's our, what the important goals that we try to do. But, we know you try to take away what an offense does best, and they do. They're a downhill running team, number 21. He runs the ball hard, and he's downhill. So we have our work cut out for us, but our players know what we expect of them, and they do usually do a pretty good job executing the game plan.
Coach Causey back with the team tomorrow, and you got a cool story to share with us about, him having been away and after the game Friday. But how huge will that be just to have him back?
Well, just from a personal standpoint, you coach for so long and you develop friendships, but you don't appreciate those friendships until they're gone. And for this short time he's gone, before I got here, I didn't know Coach Causey very well. I'd known him a little bit, but for me, it's going to be nice to see him back. Just as from a logistical standpoint, everything's back to normal. But just from a seeing the guy there and saying hi to him, and being able to talk, I'm looking forward to it. And I think our players are too. It's a sense of normalcy. The kids will get back to it, and it's what happened last week. We came back from that game because of the character of our players. Our players, it was an up and down game. Their kickoff return late, really built some momentum, but our kids fought back. And we won that game because of the character of our kids. And I think a little story that goes into that is after the game, about 25 to 30 players, they went over to Coach Causey's house, and they just stayed in the street, and they were just kind of having a conversation from the street distance-wise. But I think that shows the leadership of Coach Causey. Those kids think so much of him that they wanted to share that. Even though he wasn't there, they wanted to share that win with him.
So, was it, speaking to it, and I did wonder this, was he tuned in maybe to the river to listen to the game? How was he able to keep up with what was going on?
Well, thank goodness the river was there, because we had a little technical issues with the NSHS telecast. So you can watch that sometimes, but that went down. So Coach Causey, along with, I know several of our administrators were listening to the river, and it was great. And I know it was, everything I heard, it was one of the best broadcasts from a radio standpoint. It was really exciting for them to hear.
Well, my voice certainly paid for it. I know,
no pressure there for
playing catch up Saturday. I couldn't talk, but well worth it there.
Now with last year, that Oak Mountain loss, you start with a clear, and it started a long winning streak for you all. Ended up going undefeated in the region. How do you kind of make sure that you can bring that momentum in the same kind of fashion that y'all did last year into this week after a win?
Yeah, this season so far is starting off very similar to last year. And what's important now, we have to take it one game at a time, because this is such a tough region, and it's a talented region. But we have to make sure we take care of business and just play one play at a time, take care of this game, and then worry about the other games down the road. But we take it one play at a time, let the kids play and do their job. I think we'll be okay.
Coach, we appreciate you joining us tonight. We are running out of time here, so we're going to wrap things up here from the Panther Pulse. Anything to add before we go, Coach?
Just appreciate you guys doing this. Thank the River. Thank Golden Rule. Hey, we thank the lettermen and the cheerleaders for the environment that you guys bring on game day, and the middle school coaches. I know Coach Wheeler was here, but we appreciate it. They help us so much at the high school level. We really appreciate it.
And we appreciate you filling in, and look forward to seeing Coach Causey again next week. For everybody tuning in, we thank you for joining us. I want to thank engineer Mark Snow, Roy Gonzalez stepping in. He's a guest. He's back here cutting the show. Sean Irwin, our camera guy for our live stream. Golden Rule and Joseph Chambers, State Farm Insurance Agent, for their support. Again, I want to thank Coach Wheeler, all of our players, all of our guests, the Letterman stopping by. For Caleb Turrentine, I'm Justin Foster. We will see you Friday night from Stanhope. That is a 7 o'clock kick. You can listen to it right here on 93.3 The River, or join us down there in person. And then you can tune in, throw the headphone in, and listen to the call. For all of us here at the Panther Pulse, want to say good night and go Panthers.